Bobby from Dig Coding here, and this is a 20-second video in the building and launching a real Django website series. So if this is your first time to the channel, then welcome. And just don't forget to subscribe and like us, it's a massive help, and it will help us continue building and creating these videos. And if you would like to support us, then there's a link to our Patreon page in the description below. Any pledges are massively welcome. Like I say, that support will help us keep creating these videos for everyone. So let's jump into this video. So in the last one, link to it is just up here. We added a scheduler to our project. So the idea is that scheduler will run some code regularly. And for this project, it will be running the code for an API to talk to YouTube and retrieve video information and save it to our media model in the project. So let's jump into it. Look at my screen. I've got the directory open here, and I've also got a command prompt open. There we have it. And what we'll do, we'll fire up the virtual environment. So work on did demo. Just that we've got it working. And so the last video, like I say, we added the updater and the jobs. In this video, also what we'll do, we'll probably build a context processor as well, because we want some of these thumbnails and links to the videos in nearly all of the pages. Like I was saying, we're going to have it in the footer. So we need access to that in every page. Rather than doing that in the views, we're doing a context processor. So we'll do that as well. So apps is open, jobs is open, that's just a pass. Updater, we don't need to change that. Oh, well, that's minutes, 1 minute at the minute. So we will change that to seconds for now. And we'll have that just every 10 seconds, every 30 seconds to give it a chance. Save. And then what we'll do, we will go about writing a API. So what we need to pip install requests. I've already done it, by the way. I did it outside of this video, so we don't have to do that. We need to pip install requests, and we need to pip install AP scheduler. Now, I have done a video already about scheduling. The link to it is just up there. So it gives you a deep dive on an app that I've built that uses the scheduler, and it goes into detail about the pip library. So look at that if you want a deep dive, but we're going to need it for this tutorial. So what we'll do, I'm going to keep referring to my notes, and I've got them on the other screen here so I don't mess things up, but there will be typos, there always is. So we want to import requests, because we're going to use the requests library to make the call to the API. Requests, we need to import regular expressions, RE. We need to import Google. Do you know what? I'm just going to copy across these two because I will get the typo. And then we want to, so it's the Google Client API, and from that we need to discover any errors. And then we want to, from main.models, import media. We do need to change the media model. After playing around with the YouTube API, the thumbnail doesn't come across as an image, it comes through as a URL, so we need to change some of the fields. So we'll do that in a second as well. Let me save that. In fact, let's do that now. Main models. And what we'll quickly do is we will change this. What do we need? Oh yeah, we need a video ID. And that's a models dot char field, max length. We'll have this as 20. So after video ID, we then need one for the title, the description, the iframe, and the duration. We also then need a is active equals models dot boolean field default equals true. And so image, so we no longer need image. Instead, right, let's change the names of these firstly. So title, duration, we need iframe, we need duration, and the image is actually going to be a URL field. So we will cut that. I want to add that there, and probably won't like that when we do the migrations. Okay, we also need to add something to the date time field. So we need to add auto now add equals true. So as this object is being created, then it gets stamped with a date time of the date and time in which the object is created. And then we want to add a class, and this will be meta, and this is an ordering equals, and this is a minus timestamp. Okay, so that will order these objects by timestamp. And in fact, I would just have that. I just have it as timestamp, because we want the most up-to-date thumbnails in the footer each time when we do the context processor. So we need a way of ordering these objects, right? So we'll have that. That is the model done. What I'll do Python manage.py make migrations. Yeah, well, that's going to do that for all of these, because we haven't got null equals true or blank equals true. So we'll just add empty. There we go, and then we want to migrate. Now, got two databases, don't forget, never forget that, because it just won't let you do anything. So you need to tell it database equals, and this is main underscore database. So you need to tell it what database that we're actually migrating to. If you remember, we had all of the user functionality in the user DB and the other stuff, so the main app going to main DB. So that's that done. We should now be good to go on the jobs. Okay, so we've imported media now. So what we'll do is we will, okay, so we'll have that down a few lines. We're going to create a class. So class, and this will be called YouTube. You can have numerous classes, numerous functions in here. And when the schedule API is called in the the admin.py file in the main app, that's what we're using to trigger the jobs. You can then trigger all of the functions if you choose to. So this one's just YouTube, and then we want a def dunder init self, and we will have args, and we will have keyword arguments as well, because that gives us the ability to have a few other functions in here. At the minute we just got one, so you could technically do it on the init, but we're not going to do that. So we have, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy across these bits and pieces. No, we're not. No, actually I've glossed over a big piece that we need. So we need to go into our settings.py file. Okay, so we now need to go into our settings.py file, because the first thing we're doing in the YouTube class is we're going to define some function, or define some variables that will be used in this class, and the methods in the class, and that'll be the Google API key. So I've done a video about the Google API key and the APIs that you need to enable in Google Console. So video is up here. You have to do that for this part of the project, because we're going to be using the YouTube API, so you need to do that. But we need to add these bits and pieces to settings.py. So this is our settings file. Scroll to the bottom, and at the bottom here, what we need is, we need, where are we? We need a Google, do you know what? I'm just going to copy and paste it across, because I've already saved this into the settings.ini file, so there's no secret information here. So the Google API key, and we're looking at config, so this is pulling the API key from the settings.ini file. The API service name, YouTube, version v3, and the channel ID, that is the YouTube channel. So that's the decoding YouTube channel. It's not really sensitive information, but it's good practice. So I tend to do that. I tend to pull those sort of bits of information away from the project. So we'll save settings.py. In fact, I'm going to copy that across and I'm going to dump that in here. And what we're going to do is we're going to say self.api. What have we got? So developer key. Yeah, we'll call this developer key equals settings dot Google. I've probably really made a meal out of this. Let me just copy this down now. So it's just so I've got the context, the syntax right. There we have it. Right. So then we have the API service name. Sorry about that. So developer key, API service name. We then need API version. And lastly, we need channel ID. Channel ID. And so that will be Google API key. Then we'll have, so the service name was API service name. Okay, then we've got API version, and then we've got channel ID. That's that done. And then what we're going to do is we are going to use the discovery, this one here, so import Google API client.discovery, and we are going to use that now, and we're going to create a self YouTube. So self.YouTube. I'm not going to go deep into the detail of what this is doing. I'm just going to write it because I have got a video about what is like a deep dive on this. So have a look at that. But in this video, it's kind of a code along. So just try to copy what I'm doing here. If you need any more of a deep dive, then look at the other video. So it's Google API client and it's discovery, and it's the method is build. And we're going to call in here, we want self.api service name, self.api version, and developer key, key equals self.developer key. Okay, that is all we need in the init method there, and then we'll have def, and this is our main get data method, and we'll call self, and that's that. Great. So next so this API, we need 3 requests. We need to make 3 different requests. So first actually 4. So you make you instantiate the library using the discovery and build method from the client, sorry, the Google API Python client, and then you make 3 requests. So you make a request to the playlists, and then you make a request to the, what's the one after that? The request after that is playlist items, and then you make another request to videos. That's to get all of the information about the videos. So we go through the first request. The idea of that is just to return the playlist IDs. The next request is to use those playlist IDs to get the video IDs. And the third request takes video IDs and then returns all of the information such as thumbnail, duration, title, description, and so on and so forth. So they're the 3 requests. So let's go ahead. Do you know what? I'm going to copy this across. And I'll tell you for why. This video is already about 15 minutes long, right? So if I try and type all of this out, I'm going to be wasting your time and wasting mine. This code was already written by me in a previous video, so I'm going to just take it from my notes and I'm going to dump it in here, and then we'll just walk through it very quickly. So if I'm going to copy it straight from there. There we have it. Right, so this part of the function is still there. There's 2 functions that this is calling a little bit further down. I was going to write those, but I'll copy those across in a second. But this is the first request. So we're going using self YouTube, and we're using their playlists API. and we're returning a list comprehension. We're using list comprehension to create a list of playlist IDs. We then do a while loop. Again, I won't go through the detail of this, but we're going through and putting 50 results each time until there isn't any more other pages. And we go through the playlists and we pull all of the videos from each playlist until we've finished the loops. And we create a video, so we keep appending to this empty list, and we keep appending video IDs until we finish that. Okay, so that's what we're doing there. And the last piece of code is this bit here. So we're using the video IDs and we're going to the videos API and looking at lists. And with the response, we are then using get or create in the media objects. So it's either we get an object that has the same video ID in this API call, or we create a new object. That's basically what we're doing. And doesn't matter if we're getting it or we're creating it, we're updating that object that we've retrieved with the title, the description, the iframe, so it actually responds with some HTML which can be used, and the duration. So you've got convert duration, which is a function I'm going to copy across now. So if you remember at the start of this video, we imported regular expressions, RE, easy for me to say. Well, we're using that because of these functions here. So title formatting, so we're calling that, do you know what, not even calling that in this, that's in the tutorial the other day, so we don't need that. That was for some, actually, do you know what, I'm going to keep it because we'll probably use that a little bit later. So I'm going to keep that in there. What it essentially does, it takes the title, if the title's got more than 30 characters, then it just reformats it, so it always looks good in the HTML, renders well. Then we've got convert duration, so we're using regular expressions to, so what gets, the text that comes back from YouTube is PT, and then if it's an hour, it would be 1H 10M 47 seconds, and that's how it's rendered. That's how it comes back as a duration, so it's kind of a gobbledygook, but we're using regular expressions to find all digits before M, before S and H. That's what we're using. So it's the RE compiler, and then we're from the minutes patterns, we're then searching for the duration that we're passing through as an argument. And then this bit of code here is creating a string, which would be hours, minutes, seconds, if there's hours. If there's not, it's just minutes and seconds. So it's just converting a string that comes back from the API into something that we want to see on the website. Now, if at a later date we want to change the format here, we can do that, but that is the function that I'm using. So we're calling playlists, we're calling playlist items, then we're calling videos, and then we're creating an object in media, converting the duration, and then we're saving the new object or the one that's already been created. And then this is the last bit of code that's then allowing me to loop through the playlists. Great, so that's everything. What we then need to do is, let's save that. We need to now, rather than passing on the schedule API, we now need to call this. So what that looks like in here is YouTube dot get data. And that's it. So every time schedule API is called using jobs, the updater, which is triggered in admin.py in the main app, it will fire. It will use it will then call the YouTube API, and it does it currently every 30 seconds. We'll do that in the test, so we can just have a look quickly. And actually we'll populate the database with the videos that are currently on there. As soon as it's all populated and we can have a look, I'll then change that to every 20 minutes, and then we'll stop the server, and then we'll quickly write the context processor, and that'll be it for this video. So we'll quickly save this. We got, so if let's run a server. Let's see if this has worked, shall we? Moment of truth. Probably got a typo somewhere, though I did copy most of it across, and I know the code worked. Okay, so it's currently doing something about it. to do is, that's 30 seconds. I'm just going to wait here for just a moment, and then I'm going to put pass in there because as I change that, the server will kick back into gear and it won't do anything. Right, okay, what's this? Value too long to type character, verify. Okay, that was an easy one to figure out. So if we go back into models, look, we left these all at 20. So we'll go 200, duration. Oh, we've got double duration. We don't want that. We want description. $2,000 for description. We'll have iframe 2000 and duration is still 20. That's absolutely fine. So we'll save that. We'll break out of that and we will make migrations again. And we will migrate to database. Okay, like that. And then we'll run a server again. Oh, hold on a minute. Did I just say? Yeah, I did. Of course I did. So let's go back, save, and then that will reload. And we should only have to wait. Do you know what? Let's come out of that. Let's change the updater to 10 seconds. And then we're on server. We won't have to wait a long time now. So we'll do that, and whilst that is going, so now as soon as this, it might give me an error, if it doesn't give me an error in the next couple of seconds, then I know it's worked. What I now need to do, need to log into Django admin, or the admin page, so I can see the media objects that have been created, just to make sure that it's all good. See, nothing's happened on the CMD, so I'm assuming that's all good. So we'll break out of that. We change this to minutes. We'll call that 20 minutes. And then we'll open up browser. That won't let me, will it? No, it won't. Okay. Okay, I think that's worked now. Right, okay, so this is, I'm gonna need my phone. So I now need to bobbydigcoding.com. I need to log in here because media is only registered to the bespoke admin page. I need my authenticator, which is 806571, and medias. So we need to change that, just should say media. Okay, so it's because I've deleted it, that's why. Okay, so that looks like it's worked. So we've got the images. Let's open up number one. And yeah, that looks good. That looks really good. Yeah, so this is 70. Yeah, do you know what? I'm happy with that. I'm really happy with that. We've got a video ID, we've got a title, we've got a description, we've got the iframe, we've got the duration, which is formatted very, very well, and then we've got the image URL. So if I click on that, there you go, that's worked. Brilliant. Marvelous. Right, okay, so that is that part of this tutorial. I know it's been going on for over 20 minutes, but bear with me. Let's get a context processor in place. So what we do is we open new file and we save as, and we save this as in the main directory here, context processors .py. There we are. There we go. And what we want to do is, so the idea of this is we want to be able to access certain information across all of the templates, the HTML templates. And you can do that in the views, but rather than repeating ourselves, it's best to do it in a context processor so you can just access it all of the time. Okay, so we're going to want the most recent 4 thumbnails to be on the footer, if you remember. So from main.models import media, and then we want def, we'll call this project context request, and then we want to call this, we'll call this footer images equals media dot objects dot filter, and this will be is active equals true. So we only want true. Now what we haven't done in the API, which I will do, I'll probably do it outside of this video, but so if the video ID, if there's an object in the database that has a video ID that doesn't appear in the list that we pull back from the API, then what we want to do, we want to mark that video as inactive, because what that probably means is I've deleted the video or I've put it as unlisted, something like that. And we don't want those appearing on the website. So you want to be able to code around that. So we'll play around with that soon. So we want if footer images. So if there are images in the database, we then want to do if footer images dot count is above 4, then we want footer images equals footer images, but we want the first 4. Return, we just want this to be a dictionary like you would in the context normally, and we'll access this in the templates footer images. Footer images, right, that should be it. And now we need to register this in the settings.py file. So if we go into settings.py, we go to context processes, which is in the templates list, and underneath here where we added the maintenance mode piece, we want to do, and I just want to make sure I get this right. Yeah, so we need to access it in context. It will probably be did demo actually dot context processes dot project context. Is that what I called it? Yeah. Okay, and if I save that, is that going to work? It seems to be doing something, right? So that is all good. And what we'll do, we'll quickly go into jobs, and how shall we do this? So, okay, so what I think I'm going to do is I want to be out of this while loop, right? So here I want to do, so for vid in media.objects all, if vid dot, what do we call this? Is it video ID? Yeah, video ID. Not in videos. So the video ID on the object in the database is not in the newly created videos list, and that means that the video is inactive. So we want to mark that as inactive on the database. So it would be vid dot is active equals false. Vid dot save. That's it. So for each vid in media objects all, so we want to go through the potentially bigger query set. So for each vid, if the vid is not in the videos list, mark it as false, mark it as inactive, and video save. That should be it. So if I save that, I think that'll work. Happy days. That's working. So that is the end of this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I really do. Sorry, this one's been a long one. It's about nearly 30 minutes long, which we needed to go through it because this website is all about showcasing the YouTube channel. So we needed to have a way of not double keying, not double handling stuff, right? So the way you do that is normally you use an API. So we're just using code to talk to YouTube, to retrieve information and add it to a database so we can do something with it. That's all we're doing. Took a little bit of time to do. It would have taken longer if I didn't copy and paste from my notes, but yeah, that's it. That's the end of the video. So again, like I said at the start of the video, if you would like to support us, we have now got a Patreon page. The link is in the description. Any pledges are massively appreciated. Please do not forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.